Hello, this is Nancy Heins-Glaser with another wonderful Meet the Artist program, and today in our studio I'm tickled, delighted, excited. I have on my left Lee Boswell-May, and to her left Don Braden, and we're here to talk about an incredible something that's about to happen to our schools, and for our schools, and with our schools,
Yes.
right?
There you go.
Yes.
And that is the Jazz Masters in the
Masters.
Classroom
Yes.
program. And I want you, Lee, to start out and tell us all about that, and then we'll get to talk to the guy who's going to do that.
Okay, Jazz Masters was a dream that a lot of us in the jazz community here in South Orange have had. We wanted to get our resource, our musicians that live in town, and take them into the schools and let them talk to the students. We've got such a great jazz band here already.
At Columbia
At
High.
Columbia. And we just want the musicians to be able to interact and maybe mentor the kids. And Judy Wookage at the Baird and Nick Santoro, who's the fine arts department here with the district, got together, wrote a grant, and we got a grant from the South Orange Maplewood Education Foundation, and we got it this year. And then Judy and I said, now who can we get to really do it? And we wanted somebody who was not only a good musician, had to be in town, had to be able to interact with kids, and also be a good example to kids. And of course, we thought of Don Braden.
Nice. Cool.
A role model.
A role model.
I can do this. I can do this.
Right.
Cool.
And he was kind enough to accept. And so it's a partnership between the Baird and the Baird Cafe program. You're going to be at the Baird.
Correct.
April
April 18th.
18th.
April
Okay.
17th.
April 17th,
Well,
Saturday.
we'll remind each other of that later.
Yeah, and
Yes.
that's great.
Yeah.
So it's a real partnership, and I'm just so glad that
And SOMAtv, I know, has been funding a lot of specialty programs, and they've been doing great work, and this is people who believe in the schools and do a lot of extra hard work, bake sales, fundraisers continuously.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they've done a lot of things in the school for our kids. But this is the first time
Yes.
they've done this, because
Yes.
it was the first time it seemed, timing-wise, I think,
Right.
it could be done, if I understand.
Right.
Time was right. Everybody knows we're known for jazz around these two towns.
Right.
But the time was right for it to go now in to the kids, to the classroom.
Right.
Have a direct impact, not just listening, right?
Right.
Not just
Involvement.
playing,
Right.
right?
Listening.
Okay.
Listening's
Right.
huge.
Right.
That's where you come in, Don, because
Yes,
you're
indeed.
going to be the one to implement this amazing program. Can you just give me an idea? Is it both schools, all schools, many schools?
It'll be the South Orange Middle School, as I understand, and then the two bands that are in the Columbia High School. They have two bands, and I work with both of those bands.
Okay, and one of the things that I really had a chances to talk to you about, really, was a little bit about what you're planning to bring to the course, which is, you know, after 20 minutes, I'm feeling like I got to go check out a book. I better learn how to do my finances. Yeah, it's a little late for me, but you're bringing your own style to the
Yeah.
course. It's much more than just teaching jazz music.
Yeah. I look at teaching, the teaching of music or the performance of music as a way for people to become better people, you know. And there's nothing more important that we do, that we as grown-ups do, than do what it takes to help our young people become better
That's
people.
right.
That's the most important thing. There's
That's
nothing
right.
more important. So then with that, I think of jazz education in a holistic way. And so that the ultimate goal is it's a multi-level, multi-dimensional thing. And it goes beyond learning to play scales well and having a good sound and all that stuff. That's all important from a musical standpoint. But then my larger educational vision definitely has to do with looking for ways to nurture one's love for oneself and one's ability to have love for others and to share, just to share, to have
That's
that the experience of sharing and to be comfortable with sharing your emotions, expressing your emotions. I mean, to play scales well is all great, but to play passionately, to play with energy and passion, that is really what jazz is about. And then jazz has all these other elements within it, which is why I think jazz is a great metaphor for education in general. Certainly for arts education, creative, expressive education. You've got, first off, the basic musical, technical, high priorities and high standards that have been set by the jazz tradition. It's very high. You have to have a great sound, play in tune, great rhythm, great articulation, great control of the instrument, great expressive and nuanced capabilities, great ability to listen, which is very, very, very key. One of the most important things we humans do with each other is listen. And certainly with regards to expressing yourself. Well, by yourself, you listen to yourself and that's cool, but it's not really about being by yourself. It's about your team. And most meaningful musical situations, not everyone, there's some great solo situations, but most of the meaningful ones are at least a team of two, if not larger. And listening to your teammates in any situation is absolutely essential. So one of the first things I bring to students is the skill of, the importance of listening and the skill of playing while listening while playing. That's pretty challenging to do, actually, for young people. It took me a long time to get it together, and it will take, some attention for that.
Well, and we jumped right into this because I'm just so excited about it, but I didn't get a chance to really talk about your involvement in the music scene around here, which has been for many years through Giants of Jazz, with your husband, your late husband, Earl, right? Earl May, right? And you've been doing that how many years?
I've been with Giants since 2004. I've been involved with the Baird for about that long, doing the cafe winter series, concert series, and the summer concerts in the park. And then to help my husband's dream, I bought Jazzmobile to Newark in 2008. We actually took music into the streets of the city, and we're going to try to do that again.
That's a fabulous thing. And I think, I don't want to go without saying this, but this was one of his dreams to take it to the school, is that correct?
Absolutely.
Take it into the school.
That was his dream, and he felt that the kids were not hearing enough love songs, so he wanted to bring jazz, to reduce he said music reduces anger and frustration, and to take that into the schools as early as possible and help them
develop
and express themselves in a positive way.
Oh, yeah.
And forget you. I mean, I was going through all your things here that you've been doing. How many CDs? My head hurts. Billy, you're a composer, like a musical arranger.
Correct.
You're the director of jazz education, I think, or outreach for jazz education at NJPAC.
Well,
how many places are
you?
Jazz for Teens, okay.
There's actually a very high-level senior staff that works on jazz education outreach within the organization of NJPAC itself. I just run Jazz for Teens, and I'm doing some other projects, but it's a great program.
Yeah.
And I do some other things, but there's Sandra Bowie, Sanaz Hodra, and the Jeff Griglack, and there's a whole team, Joanna Gibson, who runs Jazz for Teens with me, a whole team at NJPAC who are in the trenches, 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week, really cranking to make jazz education alive and vibrant within the region.
Well, and I have to give a shout out on camera. He may not even get to watch me, but I met a nice man, Eddie Charles Blackwell. He's known as Eddie. He's an old jazz guy who played in the 40s. Do you know him?
Sure.
And I think for him, he's in his 80s.
Ed Blackwell's a legend.
Yeah. I know. Well, and I met him in another way. And I think to him, if I can, I'm going to make sure I get the show to him so he can watch and see that what he did has continued, because I think, and we talked a little bit about the transitions and trends. I mean, you were for the Cosby Show, a couple of PBS shows you've done the music for, compositions, arranging, conducting, playing. But really, what I got such a kick out of you was that you really want to do this for the kids. You're just totally psyched about it.
Big time.
And what you felt was important is to teach them living skills.
Absolutely.
How to handle their money. Well, can I sign
Well,
up? I'm out of high school.
I won't go into all that now, but it's critical for everyone, because the school systems in the States don't generally deal with that. And so people get out in the real world and they're like, uh-oh, which is what I was, and I just made every mistake in the book. And when you're an artist, you really have to, it's important for everyone, but for artists it's particular. If someone's looking to be a professional artist or have music play a high-level role in their life, there's going to be a significant amount of freelancing, etc. And handling your money well is critical to keep doing it. 'Cause I'm a firm believer that the starving artist thing is not the move.
Not cool.
It's not the way to go.
If you do it, it's all right. It's nothing against it, but I mean, if you can take charge of this very significant aspect of functioning and flourishing within society, take charge of it instead of having fear about it, you're in a far better position. And I've been on both sides of it, and trust me, the knowledgeable, educated, relatively, financial position is much better than the ignorant, fearful position, far better.
Sounds good.
Right. And we must teach our young people that music is a business. You know, it is a business. And you are an entrepreneur, so you have to...
So that mindset is a critical one. There's a bunch of elements to that, but and I won't get too much into that in our program, but I'll touch on it. You know, I'll try to get a little time with the kids, mostly after, we'll spend the time in band time, really focusing on music, but then I'll get some time after people ask questions, especially high schoolers that are getting ready for college. And I think about this stuff a lot, and as soon as you start savings, as soon as you start with your investment, all the various elements that you have to do, and just beginning to educate yourself, the better off you'll be. And that's ultimately that's what our goal is. We get them started early, and then they have a much better chance on the road.
Well, and it's a well-rounded education, so you're not just teaching music.
No, not just music. I mean, like I said,
although that's pretty good too.
It's all music is awesome, and the thing is, it's a holistic. My approach to teaching is holistic. Jazz is a metaphor for many things. Our interaction is like a jazz trio in a way. It's like we're improvising, which is a very important part of it. We're listening to each other. We're interacting. We're having fun with each other, which is not always necessary, let's say, but that helps when you're able to, because it helps with the synchrony when the positive emotions are flowing. And there's a really human emotional bond that's kind of working with us as well, because we're dealing with something that we're passionate about, which is similar to what a jazz trio does.
Right, and it makes better music. Is that right?
Absolutely, there's no question.
You know, and I think, to me, what was interesting is just we did have a long conversation, and you played with Wynton Marsalis. I mean, you played with some pretty huge, not that you're not huge, but I mean, Wynton Marsalis is kind of...
Wynton Marsalis is another plane, and I worked with a lot of legends, you know.
Well, do some names for me.
Well, one of my first big gigs was Betty Carter, the great Betty Carter, the jazz vocalist, and she was big on education. And I learned a lot from her. She kicked my butt on a few different levels and made me think about a lot of things regarding music, such as, you know, how important it is. She went right to some of the core things. Like, she really was like, you always have to swing. She was like the first one that just like, okay, Braden, boom, you know, kicking my butt.
Get right.
Get with it. You always have to. And then she talked about she really helped me with things like how to accompany a vocalist, of course, and then she helped me with arranging things, you know, how to think about pacing, all this stuff. And I worked with Roy Haynes for a lot of years, and Roy Haynes was all about the melody. So he really taught me the importance of melody.
So you got something,
right?
And you got something from kind of everybody.
Freddie Hubbard taught me consistency. Okay. Freddie Hubbard had the magic of Freddie Hubbard and Tony Williams both. Those two guys were the most consistent musicians. Well, Roy and Betty too. All these masters, legends, their consistency, their discipline, their passion, consistently every day they brought it. When they came to the bandstand, they brought it. They were like, hey, I'm here. These people got their babysitters, they pay for parking, they pay for the tickets. Let's do it.
Well, you know, speaking of bringing it, we're about to bring on some music because we're almost ready to go to cut to break.
Yep.
And what we're going to do is have a chance to hear you and Kyle Koehler and Cecil Brooks III.
Exactly.
And the Don Braden Organic Trio.
There you go.
We're going to treat everybody, including the kids' family, get ready for Don. He's coming to the schools. Thank you for helping make it happen. Thank you, Judy. Thanks for everybody for making this happen. Nick Santora, the schools, and SOMA. Anyway, we're going to take a break, and we're going to have some music, okay?
All right.
Thank you. Don't turn that dial.
Thank you.